Welcome to AI Marketing, a podcast for sales and marketing professionals that want to increase their sales, leads, and conversions through the use of artificial intelligence solutions. And now, here's your host, Mark Fidelman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to AI Marketing. Today, Eugene Vyborov is going to talk to us about, from Portugal, where I'm going to be going this summer. So I don't know how he got to Portugal, but it's one of the places I haven't. The only country in Europe I haven't been, by the way. I'm going to finally get there this summer. But Eugene and I are going to talk about the fundamental difference between traditional automation and agentic, AI agentic automation in marketing. So pretty excited to talk about that. We haven't had anything like this on the show before. So before we get started, Eugene, can you briefly introduce yourself and how you got to Portugal?
Of course, Mark. Well, first of all, thank you for having me over here. My name is Eugene. You did well with my last name. Appreciate that. Not everybody can catch that from the first time. But I'm a serial entrepreneur and founder of Ability AI. And basically in Ability AI, we currently are building AI automation for marketing and specifically for media buying with Facebook. And really my sort of interest and expertise are somewhere in the overlap of agentic AI and entrepreneurship and have always been there as far as I can remember myself.
Okay. And just to introduce at a high level what we're talking about today, what is the fundamental difference between traditional automation and agentic automation in marketing?
Well, look, if you look at traditional automation, it's usually a rule-based, workflow-based kind of system that did not have intelligence per se before we actually arrived at the point of having generative AI at the stage. So I really see two main differences there. The agentic automation, the agents themselves are agents because they can make decisions and they can execute those decisions. That's the first and the most important differentiation from my standpoint. Previous workflow automation could make decisions only on the if-then kind of basis, on a pretty simplistic sort of workflows. Whereas agentic automation can actually make a judgment, make a certain reasoning about certain facts, and then make a decision and take the route that can take you to better results. At the same time, there's a second component, which is an actual content creation. And marketing is, of course, a lot of it is about content, whether we are talking video content for creatives or text content or anything else. And when you combine both of them, so specifically an ability of those agents to analyze the information in the world and make decisions, as well as an ability of these systems to create content at scale, that what really stands out when we talk about agentic automation versus traditional one.
Okay, and when we talk about agentic, I assume you mean we're using AI agents that are proactively going out and doing things. Is that correct, or is it more than that?
Well, look, it's an interesting question because on the market, there is no single definition of what an agent is. In my opinion, agent is an intelligent entity that can make decisions and have access to executing those decisions. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is going and proactively doing that. It can be by your command only or by your instruction only, or it can be in the fully autonomous mode when it's making decision on its own and driving the results on its own. How much autonomy each agent gets is really a question of the business use case and how developers of this agentic software approach that.
Okay, and then so do you think this is a kind of the next evolution of marketing automation, or is this a full-on paradigm shift?
Honestly, I think it's a full-on paradigm shift. I think it's bigger than even the introduction of the internet. We're really switching wheels over here from into a completely new kind of world. And I don't think anybody really knows how this world is going to look like.
Trust me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, but I've already talked about it in previous episodes. So, even marketers are in a year ago, marketers in a room of 500 professional marketers, only 10% raised their hand that were even using ChatGPT at the time. I couldn't believe it.
Exactly.
I kind of scolded them, and a lot of them have come back to me over the last year and thanked me for getting them on the bus at least. And I'd say the same for these AI agents, especially the ones that are proactive, because a lot of this could be a lot of the marketing you're doing, uh, let's say planned out 3 months ago, could be being done live and more relevant and directed to individuals in a way that they want to receive that information. So that is coming if it's
This
not
is
here
so
already.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think it's out here already. We've seen a lot of use cases of various agents being created for again for media buying, for SEO purposes, for the cold reach out purposes, and that's just the marketing part,
Yeah.
right? We can look further. But yeah, I agree with you, man, and I think this is an opportunity for everybody who understands the power of this new paradigm and the power of these new systems to really make a step forward.
Yeah. I mean, I always like to give examples, and I'm wondering, and if you don't have one, I have one. Do you think you can give us a side-by-side example of a campaign run by traditional automation versus one powered by agentic automation? It could be fictional or real.
Hmm. So we're with our system specifically, which is what I can talk about
Yeah, please.
a little bit, is we are in beta right now with our customers, so I can't share case studies yet. It will be coming soon. However, I can tell you that my own marketing for Ability AI as a company is run by our own agent. And it's basically booking us demos regularly at a very decent cost that we had achieved before that was just a human effort with a traditional human effort. So I can tell you for sure in my example that we got our agent to the exact same performance from the metric standpoint as a human marketer would do.
Hmm. Okay. And I'll give an example. Today when somebody signs up for something that we're doing, I launch a series of emails that are sent out and somewhat personalized based on their name, maybe their title, but for the most part, that's it. With an agentic automation, they don't even have to be in your CRM system. They could be scouring the internet in real time and looking for potential prospects and then setting them up with some sort of messaging either on LinkedIn or finds their email if it's public and sends them an email, or if they're in our database already, it does a custom email and sends out an email based on what it just found. This is going to happen. I don't know if it'll be Salesforce or HubSpot or whatever, but somebody's going to be putting this together, and that would be phenomenal. And then updating the CRM system if we even need them in the future. So to me, that is just one example of how marketing, at least from a marketing automation point of view, is going to change in the future.
Absolutely, man. I can give you a couple more examples
Yeah,
that I
please.
run on the market. I mean, one of the, I guess, quite popular these days is the search engine optimization and
Yes.
specifically creating content for that. And I know companies, I don't think I can name names here, but they're basically doing a very specific research with the use of agents on the web around the topic related to them, and then creating SEO optimized content. And they're doing that at scale. And I know that in a matter of about 6 months, they got to the tens of thousands of visitors to their website, spending very little time on actually doing anything around that. And again, maybe it's a good opportunity to talk a little bit about how our agent works for media buying as well, because I don't think I had a chance to just briefly introduce that. Is that okay?
Yeah. We usually do it at the end, but this is relevant since you're talking about a use case. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a use case. So basically, uh, what our agent does and how it approaches the work is it basically simulates the work of the media buyer at a brand or at an agency, and it starts with understanding the audience. There's a step that is devoted to working with humans to develop the strategy for a particular brand or a particular product promotion using media buying channels. That includes all sorts of methodologies like jobs to be done and all sorts of competitor research. But basically, what you get out of that is a comprehensive strategy of how you want to approach uh, your media buying campaign for this particular group of products. And then what you do is, with the help of an agent, you identify those various audiences you want to go after. You create value propositions for a given product for those audiences. Then the agent actually offers a number of creatives that it suggests to be tested. And then those creatives are automatically launched directly into Facebook. And most importantly, it closes the loop on the other side, which means that it looks at the results of those campaigns and makes decisions around those campaigns, whether they should be, switched off or they should be doubled down upon, and makes suggestions on how to develop it further. So basically, the idea here is that with this closed loop, it speeds up the experimentation by, I don't know, a huge factor. I don't want to name a specific number here, but a huge factor, allowing you to just set up a whole bunch of experiments. And as you know, in media buying right now, this is how it works. You just have to play with a lot of various messagings and creatives that get spoiled very quickly. Something that works will stop working in about a week or months or whatever. Depends on how lucky you are. And so you need to continue doing that all the time. And I think basically that implementation of this workflow, implementation of this agent takes media buyers to the next level of abstraction, and they're deciding more strategically what markets they want to pursue, what audiences they want to go towards, and how they want to shape their value propositions around their products.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, let's keep moving because
Yeah, absolutely.
this is a short podcast, but there's so much to cover with you since you know so much. How autonomous should marketers listening to this allow their AI agents to be? Are they co-pilots at this point, or are they full-on campaign pilots?
Right now, the level of autonomy is relatively low, basically in every agent offering that you can find, because people still need to develop trust towards those agents because we still are not convinced that they can perform at the proper level. Plus, there is a huge risk for bigger brands with the reputation if for some reason agent makes a mistake and publishes something it shouldn't have. So definitely humans are very actively involved and they're guiding these systems to do what they need to do. So right now, basically, even though this is agentic automation versus traditional automation, even in this agentic automation, most of the folks are looking at that exactly as the automation as part of the process rather than the wholly autonomous thing that will bring you the results. And I think over time, this is going to change, and we will see a lot of the agents that are fully autonomous or close to be fully autonomous in executing pretty large parts of the business processes. Like at the end of the day, when we finish building this media buying agent, maybe it will happen, after some time when users get used to that, it will be taking over more of these decision-making responsibilities. And maybe we'll be running this experimentation autonomously within the boundaries that are defined by user and just give them, the results and say, okay, I've reached ROAS of this on these audiences, and this is the depth of this market, and this is how much money you need to convert them at, this kind of metrics.
Wow. Okay. And do you see any performance metrics and KPIs that have been defined in judging agentic automation? Do those exist yet?
I don't think they exist independently of the business processes that
Yes.
those things are automating.
Like
Uh,
how do we know it's doing a good job?
that's a great question. So from the, again, business process perspective, if we look at the media buying, we should be looking at exactly the same metrics as we're measuring our agencies and our media buyers upon, which is return on ad spend, CPC and that kind of stuff, traditional marketing KPIs and metrics. And really, we should be just looking at the results of that. Uh, Within, I'm maybe going a little bit too technical over here, but when you're developing these agents, there are certain ways to measure the quality of decision making on each of the steps for those agents. But yeah, it gets very technical very quickly over there.
Yeah. Well, speaking at technical, can you just briefly describe what the tech stack would look like to support agentic automation? I know there's your solution, um,
Mhm.
but what would a typical tech stack look like?
That is a very interesting question because there's no single answer and simple answer right now. Even with the systems like ours, uh, right now, if you look at the market, there's plenty of traditional automation solutions for media buying. The up-and-comers like us, there's a bunch of them, but nobody has a proper market share yet. So it's not clear who's going to be winning or losing in this situation yet. However, there's also a tendency that, okay, there are products like ours that are very specific to a given use case and given type of agent, but there are also more generic solutions like, for example, MakeCom or NA10 or something similar that also allow to build simpler, more straightforward, but still very effective agentic workflows that can help and can bootstrap your process to become agentic automated quite quickly.
Okay. And when you look at all this and everything that we talked about so far, what are you hearing as the biggest objections or misconceptions marketers are having about agentic automation? Or what's the pushback you're getting?
Mhm. That's an interesting question. So, uh, first of all, I mentioned already, I think the bigger brand becomes, the more risks they carry around agentic automation, especially around the content creation and the kind of content it creates, because they, bear all this reputational weight on their shoulders. Um, so that's based on the brand size per se.
Yep.
But if we're talking about marketers themselves, I think there are a few important issues here. There is a certain mistrust to those systems and desire to control more. And I think there's a lot that is coming from sort of habitual behavior of doing things the way they used to. Because reality is like for many, many years, there was a certain way of doing things, and people don't like to change generally, and they have tendency to continue doing things this way. So there's a certain distrust to what AI can do and skeptical looks towards its capabilities and possible benefits from that. Uh, so that's one thing. And the second thing is sort of related is that there is a good amount of concern and fear that AI is here to replace them as marketers. And I actually don't think this is the case at all. I think we're all of our roles, no matter what we do right now, all of our roles are changing and we're all becoming managers of the artificial intelligence, guides of the artificial intelligence in achieving the goals that we set them, in making things happen. And to be quite honest, if I was a marketer, I would be spending all my time researching how AI works and how to make it achieve the goals that I have, and learning to do that because that's going to be the key skill of the decades ahead, probably.
Hmm. Yeah, very, very interesting. What I hear is, they just don't have the tech skills to set it up, and they don't think it's actually real. I mean, these are real objections that I hear. Okay, let's go to What do you think the future of marketing looks like with agentic automation fully implemented? I mean, how many jobs are marketers going to lose, or are they?
Um, I don't think we're going to be talking about, I mean, obviously, there's going to be a change in the workforce market. We will change the roles, but I think it will introduce a lot more opportunities than it will take away. And actually, the way I believe this will develop is that the more of these agentic systems we have that close particular parts of the business process, the more individuals and small teams will be able to achieve with very little, which basically means that we have a chance to have this economy of solopreneurs or small teams, or I sometimes call them full stack entrepreneurs, basically, that are going to be making massive impacts with agentic software, with agentic systems on the general market. And I think there's going to be a fragmentation in terms of we're going to have a lot more brands and products and businesses that are going to be offered by those smaller teams. But everyone will have this opportunity to go ahead and do what they think is right and make their own vision happen with the use of those agentic systems.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you. I think that's one of the major things. And then when AGI comes around, it's going to get really, really interesting. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
what advice for CMOs listening right now? What advice do you have for them? Um, Maybe it's just one agentic automation use case you should test this quarter, or any kind of general advice you have for them.
My general advice is to spend as much effort and time as they can afford right now in learning how to build and control those agentic systems. And again, there might be some resistance towards them because I mean, there's obviously a traditional job that needs to be done still. But I think it would be a huge opportunity cost if people don't spend enough time and effort researching these technologies. I think that the gap between the traditional way of doing things and the AI agentic way of doing things is growing so rapidly that it might not be possible to catch up for those people who stayed behind very soon, or it will be very, very hard for them to do so. So my wholehearted recommendation is to spend as much time as possible trying to understand those systems, trying to work with those systems, trying to build those systems. And even if they're not going to bring immediate results, the main result of that is going to be that you would understand how to make it happen or how to make it work the way you desire.
Yeah, great point. Couldn't agree with you more. I think a use case that I would, have CMOs test is have an agent constantly scour the internet for their competitive moves and kind of put it into a daily briefing. I used to pay a person to do all that, and they would
Mm-hmm.
miss quite a few things. They use Google Alerts and all that, but an agent
Mm-hmm.
would be constantly searching for it. For that, at a minimum, I would recommend people do. Okay, so
Absolutely.
I'm going to
And
give you some rapid fire questions here to close things out. This is kind of a new segment I just wanted to test, and you seem like you can handle it.
all
Uh,
right, let's do it.
are you ready? All right, let's
Yep.
go. What's the most overhyped AI tool?
I think as controversial as this may sound, I think ChatGPT might be one of the overhyped AI
Wow.
tools. And exactly for the reason that you mentioned before, that a lot of people are stopping the exploration of the artificial intelligence right there, thinking that this is all it can offer. And I think there's a lot more, so they should dive deeper.
Wow. Okay. Most underrated marketing role of the future.
I would say go-to-market engineer. Basically, someone with an engineering or a mindset capable of building those agentic automation workflows and at the same time understanding marketing.
Is AI marketing strategist a job title in 2025?
I don't think so. I mean, already with what I've seen with the strategy agents that we have and with the tools available on the market, the basic strategy, well, not the basic strategy, the strategy for most of the brands can be done with the use of AI only. However, there is still a role for a human to commit to that strategy because they will be responsible for that. So maybe not at the level of strategy creator, but at the level of strategy approver, that I think will stay.
Okay. What scares you most about the agentic future?
Uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty with what can be possible. Agentic AI is a huge amplifier for human capabilities, and both good and bad human capabilities. And I'm less concerned about the AGI going rogue, and I'm a lot more concerned about agentic AI under a control of not exactly benevolent person going rogue.
Okay. Well, with that, where can people, Eugene, get a hold of you? And how do they tell us a little bit about what your company does and your product, and how they could test it or use it or what have you?
Yeah, Ability AI is a company that is building AI agents for marketing and for business build-up in general as well. And right now, our biggest strength is our media buying agent for Meta specifically. Please reach out to us through the website, book a demo. We will show you what our agents can do. Right now, the product is in closed beta with a group of brands and agencies, but soon we will be opening to the general availability.
Okay. And you can get a hold of me at Mark Fidelman, both on Instagram and X, or formerly Twitter, LinkedIn. Just type my first and last name in, Mark Fidelman. You can reach me there. But I do want to thank our guest, Eugene, for being very eloquent with what is turning out to be one of the most important things in marketing that are going to hit 2025 and probably 2026, at least until AGI gets here. So
Yeah, for sure.
pay attention to what's going on here. I use Zapier, and I thought that was pretty cool for marketing automation, but this is going to be like 10x Zapier in terms of what it can do just in marketing automation, and that doesn't include the rest of marketing. So you heard it here first. Make sure you're paying attention. Go out and build your first. It's not hard. Or go to Eugene's company and use what they've got. And report back to us. Let us know what you think about it, and send me a note once you do. All right, Eugene, with that, really appreciate the time. Really appreciate the input, and look forward to talking to you later.
Thank you, Mark.